Piers Morgan interviewed a man who does wear many hats, who does wear many hats. He's a comedian, he's a writer, a producer, a television host, an actor. He was a cardiac surgeon. He was a vegan. I don't know if he is still a vegan to this day, but I read that he was a vegan. He supported veganism. He supported the abstinence of animal the abstinence from animal consumption. Yeah, he said that a vegan diet can reverse physical ailments, can reverse physical maladies, physical diseases. Shout out to my fellow vegan. If he is still a vegan, shout out to my fellow vegan. Let me know. Is he still a vegan? It said that he was. It said in 2021, in 2021, he was a vegan. I don't know if he still is to this day, but yeah, let me know. Veganism for life, man. Yeah, man. Vegan food is tasty and cruelty free at the same time. There's a plenitude. There is a plenitude of vegan products that are salubrious, that are nutritive, that are healthy and tasty simultaneously. Yeah, this man he is he is a person that wears many hats, man. His name is Bassem Youssef. Correct me if I butchered that pronunciation, man. Let's get into it.
Well, joining me now to discuss the conflict, he is on Gus. It's a TV host and satirist, Bassem Youssef. Bassem, it's great to have you back.
They're talking about the war, the Hamas-Israel war.
What is your reaction
Israel
to what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also...
Indubitably terrible.
So what happened on October the 7th?
What the Hamas
it was terrible,
war
of course. I mean,
did
we kind of get
to
our
the
news
innocent
kind of
people
also
in
secondhand
Israel.
because, you know,
So what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. If you have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the how they're doing, but you know we're used to that. I mean, it's just like it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those things. They're very dramatic. Israel killing us, but they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill. Very difficult people to kill. I know because communication are lost, and their house also was bombed.
Crazy. Terrible.
If you have
I send good energy to Youssef, to
their house also was bombed.
His wife,
we haven't
her
been
family.
able to communicate with them for the past 2 days. Communication are lost, and their house also was bombed. Gaza. If you have cousins and uncles there, and
so what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. If you have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the how are they doing. But you know, we're
Crazy.
used to that. I mean, it's just like it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians. They're very dramatic. Israel killing us. But they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill. Very difficult people to kill. I know because I'm married to one. I tried many times. Couldn't kill.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I
Dark
understand
humor.
why.
No, it's not dark human. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her
Dark
out.
humor right here. That's a reference
I
to
understand the humor.
the people that the Hamas organization used as shields. Crazy. Yeah, a reference to the abominable thing that happened.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I understand why.
No, it's not dark human. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Yeah, this guy's a comedian, bro.
I understand the humor.
Yeah, bro.
Our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Again, I
Reference
understand
to
the humor.
an undoubtedly horrible, sad occurrence.
Our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Again, I understand the humor, but to be serious, Bassem, about this tonight.
Okay, I would be serious. Yeah, I would be serious. I was watching your interview with Ben Shapiro, and I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the smartest people who ever walked this earth. He's very, very smart. I follow him, and I believe everything he said. And when he came in on your show, his solution was, and I quote, his solution was that the solution for this is for Israel to annex Gaza and to kill as many son of bitches as possible to make sure that this will never happen again.
He was
And
referring to
anyone
the
who
Hamas
for a
terrorists when he
ceasefire
said
will be a
SOBs,
terrorist
not the
sympathizer. So
innocent
God forbid, I don't want to
Palestinians.
be labeled as
But-
a terrorist sympathizer. So I agree with Ben Shapiro. I think we should kill as many son of bitches as possible.
Well, let me.
So
Okay.
far,
This man, he's bringing bringing comedy right here too.
But Bassem, let me.
This is sarcasm right here.
So far, 3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 son of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist hospital as we speak right now. 1/3 of those 3,500 were children. So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy?
His sarcasm, he's wild, bro. Bassem is wild, bro. Shout out to Bassem,
1/3
man.
of those 3,500 were children. So my
But
question
I
to Ben
had to
Shapiro
say that Ben
how
was
many-
not referring to innocent Palestinians. That's the truth. He was referring to the Hamas terrorists, different from innocent Palestinians. But
were children. So
Yeah.
my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill?
I don't think
so
he
Ben
wants
Shapiro is happy?
innocent
Okay, but it
Palestinians
changes
to
from one year
die.
to
If he
the next.
if Ben does, then he's
I'm
garbage.
sorry,
But
Please listen to this.
I don't think he
I'm really
does.
at a disadvantage.
So-
So what? I'm sorry that. Please listen to this. I'm really at a disadvantage here. I'm looking at
yo, Ben he was pissed in that video when he was talking about
how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy?
Okay,
Because it changes
Bassem,
from
let
one
me
year
just
to
stop
the
you
next.
there.
it's
You know what?
understandable.
I'm sorry,
Ben
guys. Please
is
listen to me.
Jewish.
I'm really
Yeah,
at a
bro.
disadvantage.
It's understandable. The anger, the frustration.
Please listen to this. I'm really at a disadvantage here. I'm looking at a bitches in the bombing of the
He does have a bias to Israel though. I don't like the bias that he has towards Israel, but I get it.
But Bassem, let me.
Ben
So far,
Shapiro.
3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 son of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist hospital as we speak right
Gaza
now.
hospital.
1/3 of those 3,500 were children. So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy?
Okay,
Because it changes
Bassem,
from
let
one
me
year.
just stop you
It
there.
changes
Just
from what?
let me just-
I'm sorry that. Please listen to this. I'm really at a disadvantage here. I'm looking at a camera. I don't see you. I can hear you on my.
Well, the reason I'm interrupting is I think you might be.
Please,
I think you're conflating different interviews with Ben Shapiro. used the phrase "sons and bitches" with me. Let me play to you. What
Yeah, I did not hear
said.
Ben Shapiro say that in that interview.
Go back to your
No,
interview.
there was another interview.
That
Let me
Ben
play
just
what he
did.
said to me here.
Well,
Earlier
frankly, I don't believe in
this month.
proportionate response to terrorism. I believe that the way that you stop terrorism is with wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean in terms of targeting civilians. It means in terms of killing as many terrorists as humanly possible and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement by hiding behind civilians in areas that they're supposedly responsible for means that the only option for Israel is to surrender to Hamas's hatred of its own citizens, its willingness to use its own children as human shields. No country worth its salt could ever do that.
A good listener, Thomas. It makes me feel so special.
I will do a part 2.
If you don't mind, if you could.
This is a super long video.
Now that is significant,
I will
substantively
break
different
this
to what you said.
review it.
Right? He's talking there.
But
specifically
break it up
about
into
the
two
fact
parts. Divided into two parts.
The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one year to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from 1 year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human life? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side.
That's a bar fluctuating like crypto, That's a bar. That's a bar. That
what is
the Egyptian television host
I mean, 2014
dispatched.
was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88. What is the going rate today for human life? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate? I agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one year to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from 1 year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human life? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying
He went to Cairo University in Cairo, Egypt.
Bassem.
That's my question.
Well, it's not me. It's not me, guys. I'm not on either side.
Intelligent,
When I say you guys,
educated
I say
man.
like the people on the other side of that. Okay, I know that you don't think like that. You're one of the good guys. But let me tell you something. I mean, the reason that I'm using this is that I mean I can't remember what happened in 2014, and there was no music festival. But there must be something. I mean, they must do something. It is their fault. It has to be something. I mean, 2018, 300 Palestinians died. Who's counting? You know. So the thing is, what my question is, let's find what's the exchange rate for human life today, so we know, expect the future death of Palestinians, and we'll be happy to.
My response to that would be this, Bassem. I thought carefully about this because I think it's very tricky for people like me to immerse ourselves into a conflict where we're not directly involved. And I thought carefully about what I feel about this. I feel that the scale of what Hamas did on October the 7th supersedes anything else I've seen in this conflict, really ever. That the savagery, the butchery, the slaughter of 1,300 people, the shooting of babies, the
1,400 plus.
kidnapping of grandmothers, and so on. So if we can agree on that, which I think is inarguable, then the question then becomes again about proportion. I don't disagree that there's been a lot of bad stuff on both sides going back historically for decades. But if we agree that this was on a different level altogether, quite deliberately by Hamas, designed to provoke. Let me ask you a question. And the question was, you raised it earlier about proportion. I honestly don't know what the proportionate response is. I honestly don't. I don't. I've been watching the airstrikes.
So what's your question?
Well, I would ask you, if you were Israel, what would you? If you were Israel and that had happened to you, what would you think would be the appropriate way for the country to respond?
I would do exactly like Israel did, kill as many people as possible since the war is letting me do it. I mean, I can do it because I can, you know. But the thing is, you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to be even ahead of you because I see the question coming. Do you condemn Hamas for the atrocities? Yes, I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas. I let's for a minute imagine a world without Hamas.
Right.
What will this world look like? Let's give this word a name, and let's name this word the West Bank. Hamas has absolutely no control of the West Bank, and since the beginning of this year, only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas.
That is to be revived. The mass slaughter of that number of Palestinians, bro.
Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding.
That is to be demonized.
I can go on and on and on and on.
No, but you don't need to, because in a way you're preaching to the choir. I follow this crisis.
Oh no, you're not preaching.
R.I.P. to every casualty, Palestinian casualty, every Israeli casualty too.
I am at a disadvantage.
Like I said multiple times
I
before.
cannot see you. I am in a claustrophobic room, and so please cut me some slack and don't interrupt me and interrupt my point.
Sure.
So because this has to be fair. Because if you want to only hear your opinion, I can just condemn Hamas and go home. I can do that. So do you want to do that, or do you have a much more nuanced conversation?
No, I absolutely want to have a nuanced conversation. I wasn't aware I was interrupting you. I thought I was having a speech.
Amazing. So I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis.
Governor of Florida.
They said Israel
DeSantis.
is the only military
Republican.
force in the world.
Ben Shapiro, conservative political commentator.
I heard Ben
One of the best,
Ron
in my
DeSantis.
genuine
And
opinion.
they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean,
I think
how fucking
DeSantis he's doing a good job as the governor of Florida. Yeah, bro, he's a good governor.
I would say I really applaud
In my
Israel
candid
for
opinion.
doing one thing that no military
He doesn't
force in the
support.
world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said
He doesn't support the CRT and the teaching of LGBTQ plus sex. He doesn't support wokeism. He doesn't support the wildness, the craziness, the anti he doesn't support the anti-white stuff that CRT is synonymous to. Yeah, bro.
No, I absolutely want to have a nuanced conversation. I wasn't aware I was interrupting. I thought I was having a speech.
amazing. So I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic,
sarcasm right here.
Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses. We're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them. Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if
This
Russian
guy,
troops started warning
Bassem,
Ukrainians
his
before
sarcasm,
bombing their
bro.
houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi,
Vladimir
you have,
Vladimir
go
Putin,
invade. It's fine. You have
Russian
done your job.
president.
I mean, the thing is, and I understand, and I also heard Ben Shapiro talking. You have warned them, go invade. It's fine. You have done your job. I mean, the thing is, and I understand, and I also heard Ben Shapiro talking about Unity. So you remember, my wife's family, they didn't get it. So I asked them. I told them, when Israel give you the nice warning, the cute warning, does Hamas force you to stay in your home so you can be bombed and use as human shield? You know what? Hassan here, my wife's cousin, he's a loser. You know, he told me, when I asked him, does bomb and use as human shield? You know what? Does Hamas let's force you to stay in your home so you can be bombed and use as human shield. You know what? Hassan, my wife's cousin, he's a loser. You know, he told me, when I asked him, does that happen? He told me, no. The lying son of a bitch lied to me. I told him, you don't understand. Ben Shapiro and all DeSantis keep saying that Israel warned you and Hamas asked you to stay put. So I told him he's a loser. He never kept a job. He even failed in all of the interviews to become like a human shield. I would believe.
All right. Let me ask you this.
So let's go with that. No. Let me.
At some point, I must be able to ask you questions. It's not a monologue for you.
If we agree that for the 14,000 casualties, I mean, who's counting, are human shield, does that mean that every single one of those civilians will stand obscuring a military target behind them? Because that's a lot of weapons. I mean, Hamas is back.
No, of course it doesn't. And look, so there's.
So let's go with that. No. Let me.
At some point, I must be able to ask you questions. It's not a monologue for you.
If we agree that for the 14,000 casualties, I mean, who's counting, are human shield, does that mean that every single one of those civilians will stand obscuring a military target behind them? Because that's a lot of weapons. I mean, Hamas is back.
No, of course it doesn't. And look,
so there's some collateral damage. Lots of collateral damage.
Yes.
It's fine, yeah. You kill some to save some, and then kill some more. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Again, it comes back to proportionate response. When the world decided it had to get rid of ISIS because of the appalling butchery they were carrying out, it did so by also killing, very sadly, a lot of civilians along the way by doing airstrikes against places which
killing civilians are inevitable. You said that in the beginning.
My point is,
it's inevitable.
Yeah, but once Israel has decided that they want to get rid of Hamas, and Hamas is embedded with civilian population, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen next. I've written a column tonight saying, I remember the Iraq war, which I opposed, right? I remember all this. So my question to you is,
I know.
What would you think would be an appropriate response by Israel to what happened?
Well, these are years of disproportionate responses of Israel.
Right.
Did it solve the solution? Did it solve the problem? Did it work before? So it will hold. What will be the surprise this time? What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What will be different this time? Seriously, I mean, this is only the last 15 years. I mean, because it's too many papers. I just got this. But how will this be different? And the thing is, I am so glad in the introduction that you mentioned the Iraq war. I applaud you, Piers, for saying that, because you were honest about it. You said that spreading lies like WMDs made people look at those
weapons
people as less of humans
mass
and then accept the death of 1 million Iraqi, whether by sanctions or by invasion. Right? You are a good man. This is amazing. And you know what is similar?